Public schools use COVID relief money to hire additional staff to address challenges brought on by the pandemic.
In order to continue addressing those challenges, the district is continuing to fund those positions even though the COVID money is gone. Today, 12 News reporter Brock Wilson talked to one of those staff members. He's live with her reaction to the budget cuts and also concerns from the teachers union. Brock.
Rachel, during the coronavirus pandemic, Wichita Public Schools used its COVID relief money to pay for additional support staff like counselors. But the school district says those positions are still important even though the pandemic is now over.
Students who need the help.
Harry Street Elementary School counselor Tracy DeSanayaka says they hired an additional counselor during the pandemic.
Having more counselors here, we can get to those students who really need us.
And those counselor positions are being protected by the school district. Now administrators are turning to school buildings to trim the budget.
Our social workers, our counselors, we need them more than ever.
United Teachers of Wichita President Katie Warren says teachers are happy their jobs aren't at risk, but there are some concerns with the decision to close schools.
I talked to a teacher yesterday who had been at her school, she said, for 20 years. And she was concerned. She's like, I know the families, I know the community.
But what's positive is some teachers in aging school buildings could be moving to newer facilities with fewer problems. School board president Stan Reeser says aging buildings are just one of the factors the board will consider when choosing which schools should close.
Whether there is a history of declining enrollment in that one particular school. We will also look at the age of the building and also what type of repairs that building needs.
Reeser says budget cuts, including school closures, are necessary to keep the school district attractive to students and teachers.
When we spread our resources too thin, then we have to stop being innovative. We'll try to create a vibrant school district within the next 2 or 3 years that's very closely aligned to our strategic plan.
Reeser says Wichita Public Schools experienced learning loss during the coronavirus pandemic. That's why keeping these staff members is so important. He says the school district needs to continue using money from its budget to pay for education rather than paying to upkeep buildings that are just getting too expensive.